Right, this first assessment task is training task number 2, and the name of the task is just your basic machine safety and learning how to use the ride-on mower. I'm just going to do a pre-safety check and look around at the machine to make sure it's right for the trainee to be using, and that'll include a bit of my preparation time. Then I'll get into the introduction. We'll do the pre-start. We'll do some post-mowing checks. Then we'll return the mower for storage, and then we'll have some questions and feedback at the end of the session. I'm just wondering if the lights, I'll just go with it. Right, okay, thank you. Trainee is Jane, and I'm just going to do the introductions for Jane as far as the safety is concerned. I think the light's bouncing off that light thing, it's not very good. Okay, so the purpose today is to be able to independently and confidently use the mower, and we're going to go through the process to make sure that at the end of the session that you are able to do so. So the very first thing you need to be aware of is some basic machine safety. We're going to go over a couple of the different parts of the machine to know what you need to keep your eye on and what you need to be aware of. Before we start the machine, we'll go through how to put fuel into the machine, into the mower, and then after we've done that, we'll go through the startup, mowing, stopping, how to clean it, when you're finished, return it, and storage. During that time, you'll also have a look at how to engage the blades, how to stop the blades, reversing, stopping, and moving, and what to do if you need to get off the mower during your mowing, and how you can do that safely. Okay, so we'll go over and have a look at the machine. Okay, the first thing you need to know is where the fuel gauge is. Now, the fuel gauge is a pretty basic setup. It's just that you can have a look and see how it's just a indicator. Okay, now that indicates that we're not empty, but we do need to make sure we put some fuel in before we start. That way we can ensure that the mower's going to go while we're mowing and we don't have to worry about that. Right, this type of mower takes unleaded. And the tank is under the seat. Right, so we under the lid here, and we can see just with a visual confirmation that there is some fuel in it, but I will demonstrate how to do the fuel, and then I can get you to practice that later on. The fuel canister is full, so it's a little bit heavier than I would like to do to use, but I'll demonstrate what it looks like, and then we can just use the fuel that's in it for today's session. Henry's bailed up a rabbit. Okay, so undoing the lid. Okay, taking out the nozzle, taking off the nozzle cap. Don't forget to do that. Some people actually don't forget to do that bit. Okay, we tie it on, then we put it in and we do it up until it's tight. And you can feel it if it's going up and down enough. Okay. And unleaded fuel only. And I've taken the end hose nozzle off. And then put the lid back on here until it clicks to indicate that it's on tight enough. Undo the nozzle. Cap goes on. Click that on. And then we'll remove that out of the way. It's fairly loud mower, so you do need. It's a fairly loud mower, so you do need to make sure that you're wearing a set of protective earmuffs, and I'll get you to put those on before we start the mower. Okay. Right. Okay. Right, the different components of the mower, the handbrake, the throttle, the reverse button, and the blade engager, where that goes forward to engage. And here we have the the foot brake. Here we have the mower cut height selector. And then we have forward and reverse, and you can see the arrows give an indicator, but the inside left is forward and the smaller one is the reverse. Then we have the key, and we'll start the mower very shortly. You just start it like a normal car, but once it's started, we won't be able to talk over it. So we'll have to stop and start a couple of times. So the first thing I'm going to get you to do is to actually start it, and then engage the mower, and then try and reverse back. And I'll demonstrate what you have to do, and then I'll get you to get on and do that yourself. Okay, so you just get on the mower. Right, put your headphones on. Put your earmuffs on. And the brake is on, and the brake can be disengaged by pushing in the brake pedal and pushing down, or engaging the brake, pushing in the brake pedal and lifting it up, and then taking your foot off the brake, and then it's engaged. That has to be engaged for it to be able to start. Okay, so we can't start unless that's the case. All right, turn the mower on. It should just start. Put the throttle in choke on a cold start. Now I'm going to show you how to reverse the mower around. Now, when the mower blades are not engaged, you do not have to push in the reversing button, and I'll teach you about that in a moment. So we turn on the mower, we disengage the handbrake, and then we'll just reverse out. Choke. so if you can follow me over, and I'll get this thing on it for me. Right. Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get you to start the mower. Then I'm going to get you to mow a section. I'm going to get you to be stopping and starting, turning the mower on and off. Mow a section. Just check before we mow that it's a safe area to mow. And then we're going to go to an area, and then we're going to clean the mower. I'll show you how to clean the mower. If it's wet, we usually, we'll talk about the cleaning when we get to the cleaning. And then we're going to talk about returning the mower to the storage area. And then if there's any questions that you need to ask at the end of the session, just to make sure that you're happy with your knowledge and see if there's any feedback we need. Okay, so we're just going to go through the engaging. Just going to go through the engaging of the blade section now, because that is probably the area that might be the most confusing, because the mower will turn off if the blades are engaged, and it is the main safety aspect, as when the blades are turning, that's when the mower's at its most dangerous. Okay, so, right, just have a practice of moving this handle here forward, just slowly. You'll feel it. You see, it's a mechanical process, and you can feel that it's mechanical because there's a fair bit of pressures needed. Now that means that the blades are engaged, and the mower won't start if the blades are engaged. So if you stop the mower and then you sort of think, well, why won't it start? The first thing you do is check if the blades are engaged. So unengage the blades or disengage. Okay, and do that slowly because it's mechanical. Okay, and the other thing you need to be aware of, the mower's not going to start if the handbrake's not engaged. So let's practice putting the handbrake on and off as well. Right, so push down and then let go down there. Right, okay.
So that's on. That's off.
No, that's off. When it's in, it's off. So push in, lift up, and then let out. Okay, and the mower won't start unless that safety function's been done as well. Okay, so in a moment we're going to just mow a section, just to see. We're going to mow a section just to see if we know how to follow the process. Now, I'm going to have to get you to put your headphones on now. Oh, your safety muffs on now. So it might be a little bit difficult to hear. So I'll just see if you can follow the process, and then I'll get you to practice that and see how things went. Okay. Right, we'll take them off first. There's one other thing. Right, take them off. Right. You're going to be, when you get over to the mowing section, you're going to be mowing on level 2. I want you to practice putting the mower blades at level 2. Right, level 2 is just a height that's been decided. There's no real reason for why, except that that'll be low enough. Okay, right, okay, so lifting it up prior to starting. Okay, right. So what you're going to do is you're going to start the mower. You're going to move over to the section that's going to be mowed. You're going to engage the blades, and then you're going to go to level 2, and then you're going to just begin some mowing. And then I want you to also show me reversing as well. And then when you're finished with the mowing, I'll get you to turn it off, and then we'll get into the process of cleaning the mower and getting the mower ready to be put back into storage. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the section I want you to mow. We'll get off the mower there. So we're just going to mow this small section here, and also one of the things we do before we start mowing is that we do a check to make sure there's nothing in the way. So we'll just have a bit of a check of that. It only needs to be, if someone looks at it, they're only going to say, oh, it goes for 40 minutes. Right? Not much enough. Okay, so you need to understand that this is now you're going to demonstrate your skills, and I'm interested to make sure that you actually start and do it safely. So that'll be the main purpose. I'm just got a video on what you do that now, if that's okay. Thank you, learner. Okay. Right, thank you. Remembering. Yep, very good. Now the brake's engaged, so you should be able to just start it. You don't need to touch anything else there. Okay, disengage the blades. Disengage the blades. Lift up the deck. Right, put the brake on. Okay, now why do you think it stopped? When you went to reverse and the blades are engaged, what's the thing that you have to do? What do you have to do? What's the thing you have to do?
Put on the brake.
Right. Now you've got to reverse. So what have you got to do? When the blades are engaged, you have to do something. There's a safety thing that makes it stop, which is what just happened to you then.
Yeah.
Can you remember what it is or not?
No.
See this button here? Before you reverse, you have to push that button
right.
in if the blades are engaged. That's to make you be aware that you're going to go backwards and you're not going to run over anything. And it's sort of like it's just like a checker. Okay, so I'll go back to over here. I'll get you to start, right? I'll get you to go forward a little bit and then I'll get you to reverse, okay? Okay, handbrake has been engaged. Okay, the blades are disengaged. The deck has been lifted to its full height, and the keys completely around to the off. Okay, off you get now. You can just get off. I usually try and just swing off there, but that doesn't matter. Right, okay. Right, the next thing we're going to do is just go through a bit of a cleaning process. Now, there's usually a wet cleaning process and a dry cleaning process. Today's dry, so what we would usually do is just get the blower and blow all the dirt and the dust off. So I'll just see if we do that. And then if it's wet, I like to use the water cleaning underneath the mower deck to get rid of all the grass because it gets stuck when it's wet. Today's not one of those sort of days, but I'll go through that process so that I can show you if it is actually wet, you will know what to do. Okay, you can notice on the bottom of the mower deck, or on the side of the mower deck I should say, is this nozzle, and that's simply a nozzle that you attach a hose clip to. So I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll go through the process of what you do once you've done that to make sure that you're actually cleaning the underdeck of the mower, otherwise you just got water running through it. Okay, so we're using the mower later on, so it'll dry after this process, and then after it's dried, we'll go through the blower vacuum as well. Okay, so I'm just going to get the hose and show you how to put the hose on. Right, so it's simply a matter putting the hose on here and clicking it on there. Okay, so I'll get you to do that for me. Remember to pull it back a little bit to get it over the notch. Oh, is that clicked on?
Yep.
Right, okay. And then go and turn the hose on at the tap. Okay. Right, I return to the mower. Now sit on the mower because you're going to start the mower. You're going to engage the blades so that the water does its job, and then you're going to turn it off after a couple of minutes. I'm not even that. So start. Okay, so I'm going to turn the tap off. Right, man, take your hose off. Okay. Right, well done on that. Have you got any questions about it, or pretty straightforward?
That's pretty good.
Righto. One of the learnings you had was, and it takes a couple of goes to remember to push that button in for the reversing when the blades are on, and that sort of shocks you into learning that you have to be aware of the reversing process, because that is probably the most dangerous part of the mowing, as you saw. What we're going to do is we're going to now return, put the mower away. We'll put the mower away, And then we'll have a bit of summary of what we've done, and that'll be the end of our learning session on how to use this machine, which is just the John Deere ride-on lawnmower. So what you're going to do is you're going to get on, just start it, and then steer it back to the shed and put it in its position. Leave it on, leave it on. Move that out of the way. Just come into the shade, just to make sure that it's okay. Right. Okay, so just to summarise, one of the things we did, can you remember sort of the processes of what we went through at the beginning? Can you remember? All right, yeah. What do we do? Fuel? Okay, just check your fuel first, because it's annoying if you run out of fuel, especially if you're out the front of the house and it's a fair way around the front.
Safety.
Yep, okay, so you've got to make sure you're wearing something safe. Later on in the day you might have some sunscreen on as well, so don't forget that. In the starting process, now you're going to make sure that the brake's on.
Yep.
Make sure the brake's on. Make sure the mower's disengaged, and if it's a cold start you need to have the choke, so that means you've got to have the throttle up fully. You noticed when it was warm you didn't have to do that, it just started straight away. Stopping, make sure you put the brake on, pull the brake, park brake on. We learnt that when you're reversing and the blade is engaged, you must push that yellow button. That's the safety reversing button. It's just one of the features there. At the end, we learnt that how to clean it. Now, on a dry day like today, we would have just got out the blower vac and give it a bit of a blow. But we demonstrated today what to do if it was wet and there was grass underneath the mower deck, because that's where most of the rust and the damage will occur to the bearings and all that sort of stuff under there, so we've got to be aware of that. After we'd cleaned the mower, we returned the mower, we put the mower away in its position, and then we just made sure that everything was, that the brake was on and everything was right to go for next time. Any other questions about it?
Good.
Now it is loud, so one of the main safety things is you do have to have those earmuffs on, because it is quite a loud mower. Right, well I think that's about it. You've done really well. Okay, that was a pretty good job, that. All mowers, even though they look easier, are a little bit different, a little bit tricky, and you do need to just practice before you can go off and do it yourself. So you looked as if you knew what you were doing, and would you be confident to do that by yourself now?
Yeah, I feel confident to do that.
Okay. Right, well, thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming to our training session today, Jane. And we'll catch up next time and just see if there are any more questions that you need to or that you have after you've done it a couple of times independently, and we can review. Probably the only harder one will be about the fueling, probably because it is a tricky fuel because it just once it gets full, you've got to judge it just visually, and that's a hard thing to do. Okay, so thank you for your time. Well done, and we'll see how you go next time. Thank you.
Thank you.